get into this big old juicy terrestrial dry fly today. For the hook, we're looking at the Ahrex FW531. This is a big one, size 8. Let me get some thread started here. Just going to run a little thread base down the whole length of this shank. And today I'm using some 6/0 tan. Brown would be great. Orange would be great. So you have options. Of course, 140 is a good one, but again, whatever your favorite thread might be, probably the thread you should use. So in the stacker, I do have some elk hair, and a normal stimulator, which is what we're going to tie, would have, of course, deer hair. Get those beautiful markings that come off on the tail and all that. I'm just a bigger fan of using elk hair. So we're going to tie this down so it sticks out as a nice little butt coming off of this terrestrial. These hairs should be even, but if they're not perfect, it is not the end of the world. The fish are still going to eat it. The only people that are going to have problem with it are whoever's a pickier fly tyer than you are, or maybe you're the picky fly tyer. Then by all means make that as neat and tidy as possible. But it's not the end of the world if it's not perfect. That's the point. So do want to keep all these hairs moving forward there. And now we're going to make some angled wraps. This is going to trap that hair on the body a little bit for us. As you can see, that tail splays out real nicely. A lot of movement there as far as the oof once you tie that in. I like that look. So now I'm just going to give some loose wraps here. Trap some of that body hair. I don't need to go all the way. I just want to imagine where I want that body to stop, where I want that abdomen to sit, and the head and all that good stuff, or thorax. So don't go all the way to the eye. Give yourself plenty of space here. Get your scissors into play. Carefully just trim out all those butts of the elk hair, or if you're using deer hair, same deal. Trim out all that good stuff. And then we'll tie it all down, mash it really well before we add our next element. So this is just another fun way to tie a stimulator, but with just a slightly different look. And the reason being, it's not too far away, and we're going to be into, big stoneflies, big salmon flies, all that good stuff. So as much as the stimulator is a great searching pattern, you can change a few things up and really dial it in to match a specific large bug. We're going to tie in a feather that we're going to use as a body hackle here. I've just got a Rooster saddle feather, and this is off of a variant saddle, a Hebert Minor. But whatever you have handy is probably going to work. Grizzly is great, all that good stuff. Brown is great. Don't trip too much on the color. Just make sure you're using, the best quality feather you have at your disposal. So now we're gonna incorporate some foam, and I'm gonna tie in a thin strip here. I've cut this to about 1/8 of an inch, and I gave myself a little cheat right there so it's easier to grab with the thread. I can grab that little point and then work my thread down and really sort of make that foam all but disappear. That's the idea. We will give some tension as we wrap this, but now you can see with the elk hair nicely tied down, like we haven't really eaten into any of this hook gap, and that's key. You don't want to destroy the whole point of having a nice big hook for a terrestrial by killing that hook gap. So that's where, when I talk about wrapping this foam, we're going to add just a slight amount of pressure with each wrap. You can even, as you go, just sort of touch and sort of help it guide around the hook shank. And you can see I'm just doing slightly overlapping wraps here. Nothing too crazy, but it's going to float this fly all day. And that's what I want. I want something that's able to support a dropper if I want to fish a dropper underneath here. But I also just want a fly that even after it gets eaten a few times, gets a little fish slime on it, I can rinse it or blow on it and then dry it off enough to just keep fishing. That's the idea. So there we go. nice, vibrant orange body. And that's why I say, if you're a big fan of fishing that salmon fly hatch, all that good stuff, this is an easy way to do it. So now I've got this beautiful feather tied in. All I want to do now is really just follow along with where we have those segments, right? So you can definitely add more wraps of hackle if you'd like, but I like this idea, and with this darker feather too, you see that quill against those orange foam wraps, and it just pops and gives you that instant recognition of segmentation. And for a lot of you, you already know that's a very important thing in the bug world. When we're feeding these to fish, if it has segmentation, a lot of times that's a deciding factor for them to eat or not. And so I always want to make sure, even nymphs, all that good stuff, segmentation matters. All right, we are cranking right through this stimmy today. Already pretty cool look to it. Looks like a mini bomber at this stage. Let's go ahead and get our thread into play here. Really want to condense this front portion. So now at this point, we're going to add some flash. And depending on how you want that wing to sit, a lot of times you can just come in here and eliminate this top portion of hackle because it's really not doing anything. And so I want that flash and our wing not to be impeded by some of these fibers. So cut out the ones we don't need. The ones on the side and the bottom are still in play, and that's what's important. So now I've got some pearl crystal flash. I've got maybe 8 strands, but I'm going to double them over the thread. And so now I've got a nice pile of roughly 16 or so. Just going to, after veiling that, bring it right up to the hook shank. Give it a slight tug back, make sure it's sitting exactly where I want. Just get a couple nice thread wraps to really secure all those flash fibers. And that's going to sit under the wing, of course. But when fish are looking up from the bottom and they can see those bits of flash, it looks like the regular or natural wing, which as the sun hits it, it's going to have some reflection, and so it looks like, you know, you can see the veins and all that. And it's going to cut this roughly the same length as where the tail ends there, or the butt. All right, so now it's time for another little bit of elk hair. And for this one, I do have to give it a quick stack here. I'll try to be as timely as possible. One thing you don't have to do, especially on the stimulator, and even more so with that foam body, you don't have to tie an overly thick or full wing. You can get by with a little less hair, which sometimes to me has a more natural look anyway. Depends on the bug, I suppose, you're trying to really emulate. But in general, I see a lot of people overdo it on that wing, and I'm one of them. I just like using a lot of hair. Sometimes it's too much. So let's keep that in mind. I'll do my best to not put too much hair in this thing. That's going to be just a little bit too much. I'll get rid of some, not a lot, just some. All right, I don't need that wing to come all the way back here. I need it to come roughly halfway back on that butt section. That's the goal. This looks much better, I think. So let's get a loose wrap, give it some tension, a little more tension at each wrap. Just chasing this back, not letting go of my offhand pinch. That's the key. And there's our wing tied in. Make sure everything's in good position there. Looks okay to me. So now we can trim out all this hair and make sure you've tied it in really well before you get to this stage. You can always tie forward a little bit if you're unsure of the stability of that wing, but we do want to trim this with a little bit of angle so that as we tie this down, it's not going to all be one big lump, and yet we don't want to force any hair into the hook eye. That's the biggest issue you might face here. So let's just tie all this in, mash that hair as we come back, make a couple passes, and you can see now we've got a much better little area or section for our head and or thorax all sort of combined in one. Beauty. Big fan so far. Now we're coming to our actual forward hackle, and this is off that same saddle. Just you know, you just look around. Some of these saddles are going to have a range. They're not all going to be 16s and 18s. You can find a couple feathers that'll work as a 10, a 12, or in this case, even a size 8. So depending on what saddle you have, you may need to get in there and get a different saddle out for this portion. But my guess is you probably have a saddle that'll do both. There we go. And for the dubbing today, I've got some super fine dub in burnt orange. And that's just going to be slightly darker than my body tone. And you know, when you tie a regular stimulator, if you use a tan body, a lot of times 90%, maybe more, you'll see that orange in the front for that thorax. And it works really well, not just in contrast, but as an attractor and all that good stuff. So you make this your fly. If you know you're fishing a certain hatch, once again, you can dial that in. Otherwise, I do like the idea of both contrast and hotspot, especially when you can do it in a searching dry fly. We're just going to work this back now. What we don't want to do is, again, cheat that head and run out of space with our hook eye. We don't want to jam that. So you see I'm not giving outrageous coverage here. It's just enough dub to fill in the gaps. I'm going to check on your side. And that's it. Nothing crazy. I don't need to be overly full on that. So now let's see if our feather will play nice. One little rotation there. May have tied it in just a touch. Well, I got one hair affecting it too, but let's see if we can get this in there. There we go. Just a little manipulation goes a long way. So at this point, I'm just going to sort of wiggle as I get through that dubbing, help that quill to bury into that softer dub a little bit. And coming up on, that's probably a good spot to stop right there. Again, we don't need to crowd it. If you look at how many other factors are incorporated into the flotation of this fly, we don't need to cheat that hook eye by any means. There's plenty to float this bad boy. So just gonna get a couple thread wraps in front there, and I can just safely trim out that quill and sort of keep all the good fibers that we released. And after we whip finish and cement this, we can come in and really make sure nothing is trapped. We'll just use a bodkin and release all that good stuff. So let's make a cute little thread head here. And a lot of times, you know, with the head on these terrestrials especially, don't be shy to come in with a little marker. Hit that with some dark brown or black, whatever. Or you can simply use a darker thread. I don't mind this little tan head at all. So I'll probably just leave it as is. One whip finish. Let's get another one in there. Again, these, you know, if you've ever fished a big terrestrial, there's a time and place, of course, but man, they can make for a really fun day on the water. Fish tend to lose some of their inhibition, especially when there is a big hatch of, like we talked about earlier, some salmon flies or big stoneflies, all that good stuff. And it's just fun throwing big dry flies, at least in my world it is. I'm going to get all those thread wraps covered with a little head cement. Got some Loon hardhead clear today. Just take your time. Again, keep the eye of that hook is just clean. That's all. There's one thing you can control for sure. It's how far forward you're tying your materials. So keep that eye clean. You don't have to get in there and dig it out when you're on the water and all that. Save yourself some time and frustration. And there we go. Just sort of release everything, prop it up, primp it, if you will. And there you have it, an elk hair, bleached elk hair, foam-bodied stimulator ready to put on a clinic. So I hope you guys enjoyed. By all means, if you did, please hit that like button. Please hit subscribe. We will see you all on the water.